How did Chelsea beat Barcelona in Spain but then crumble at home? This is a film study of the second leg Champions League semifinal between Chelsea and Barcelona. I'm going to answer questions like, should this have really resulted in a red card? Why was Lauren James offside for what felt like the majority of the first half? And I'm also going to tell you why this play made me so irrationally angry. Studying Coach Emma Hayes might help us guess what she's going to do with the U.S. Women's National Team. So at the end of the film study, I'm going to just throw some stuff out there and make some predictions. All right, let's get into it. The second leg of the Champions League semifinal means this is a home game for Chelsea. Last week, they showed us a 4-4-2 on this little lineup card, but they never played in. So this game, they've been a bit more honest, showing us a 3-5-2. And then one change personnel-wise, Kat Macario comes in for the injured Ramirez. Now, for Barcelona, the big shocker was seeing them in a 4-3-3 in the first leg, and now they've said they're in a 3-5-2, which is fascinating because it's the same formation Chelsea used to win against them previously. So as soon as I saw this, I was really excited for what we were going to see. Chelsea, right off the bat, going through the long ball. There's no disguise there, sticking with their game plan from last week. But something that immediately jumped off the screen to me was how physical this game was going to become. And we're going to see another little tug here. We're going to see two players run into each other. So very physical, and so much so to the point that the ref has to go over and say, hey, look, it's been 30 seconds. Get your players under control because we can't have this. No more. That's it. Which is, I mean, it's wild. It's 50 seconds in. But fat lot of good that did, because you got to consider the context of the game. It's Champions League. It's high pressure. Everybody wants to win. And then wrestling match over here. What I really took from this is Barcelona is trying to do their best Chelsea impression. They got beat last week by a team that was much more physical than them, so they're coming out, they're setting the tone early, and they're saying, we are not going to make this easy for you. There's a turnover here, which gives us a chance to see Chelsea's attack. Some patience, waiting for the run to be set up, and it's a long ball again to Lauren James, who's offside. It's the same play they were trying to make in the first leg to Ramirez. Looked a bit more effective with that player, different result. Barcelona restarting from a free kick here. And Chelsea really doing what they did last game, trying to starve them at that midfield. You see Barca not finding any options through there, just connecting these small passes on the outside. And I love this move, the step there. Just slows things down enough to let her break on that wing. And what we're going to start to see is issues with the clearance quality from Chelsea right here. Something they struggled with towards the end of the last game. They just cannot get this ball out cleanly, and they're giving up second opportunity after second opportunity again and again, and you're making it work so much harder for yourself. They are doing so much more right now than they need to be. Super frustrating to watch, but finally, good clearance. That ball's to Kat Macario, who's very patient. Lovely positioning and movement here. Just light movement, not much, but just making sure she stays available. And then goes to execute what coach has told her to do. Lauren James is offside. So getting a little frustrating at this point, doing the same thing and having the same result. Right, another example of Barcelona on the attack, having to use the wings again, taking what's given to them. And we're going to see the same issues with clearance quality. You can't make that many mistakes and expect not to be punished. It's a great move. Really unfortunate, but it kind of clips her legs a little as she's trying to block it. But if you can't clear the ball out the box, yeah, what do you expect? One important thing to remember now before the kick, it's the aggregate score that matters. Over the two games, this is now 1-1, so we're tied at this moment in time. Kick from the keeper, and the physicality is still through the roof. That diving header is ridiculous based on the position of the pitch. Lawrence, I feel like she is looking for Lauren James here and waiting for her to make that run, and it doesn't really happen. Looks back again, finally gets it. She's onside this time, which is great, but she's not actually behind the defense, so not very beneficial. I don't know what that was. We're still wrestling. That was a great little ball from Cat Macario, and I hate this so much. I cannot explain how much I hate this finish here. I need to go through a few things. Ugh. This is a really clever ball from Cat Macario. There is nothing going on here. I just like the idea of breaking it out there, doing something a little bit different. Really nice. This annoys me because she's going for a really, really difficult finish when it does not need to be that difficult. Really simple concept for tap-ins. If the ball comes from the right side of a pitch, use your left foot. If the ball comes from the left side of a pitch, use your right foot. It gives you a lot more leverage. It's way simpler to get over a ball. It's just a million times easier to finish. When you can do it, left side, left foot, I guarantee you're taking a shot that's impossible to save. It's going to be beautiful, gorgeous, yada, 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 yada. But if it doesn't go in, who cares? I would so much rather you just tap that in with your weak foot and it's an ugly goal. This annoys me, and it annoys me at all levels, but it especially annoys me during a Champions League game when you really can't just tap it in. I don't care how bad it looks. Took some deep breaths. I'm ready to do this again. Chelsea on the attack, connecting with some passes in the wing, the only area they've been able to pass through, and that is a horrible mistake. Horrible mistake. Lauren James is in position. I do like this. No panic there, just reset it, give someone else a chance. And these are just the moments Chelsea has to capitalize on. This is only going to happen once in a blue moon with a team like Barcelona. They just do not make that mistake twice. My goodness. I do like that Lauren James tries to get that on her right foot. This feels a lot closer to me of a miss than the clip that we just saw before. But again, you have to finish these chances. Teams have come back from halftime now, and it looks like more of the same from Chelsea. They're still out here using the wing, still connecting on passes to try and get in behind the defense. It's not a terrible ball in, but nobody there. Still, no finish on these. Only a minute later, we got Barcelona on the attack. They're starting to have a little bit more luck moving this ball centrally after using the wings to get up to the box. And clearance quality, a problem again for Chelsea. They are really causing their own issues at this point. I don't know how that ball got chipped in there. I don't know how that ball didn't get won. I don't know how that ball didn't get cleared. It's just absolute chaos. Chaos. 40 minutes left in this match, and I think this is where, as a player, you're starting to think about, is there going to be time added on? Is there going to be extra time? Are we going to have to go to penalties? And you start wondering, am I going to have to play a whole another hour of football when I'm exhausted? And they've been in a tie for a while, so I really think this is the point of a game in which the chippiness starts to ramp up and starts really negatively impacting the game. This is just the first of many. Chelsea here in the high press, still a lot of intensity, and still a very physical game from both teams. We're going to see Cuthbert, a little bit of a grab, a little bit of a shove, and Buchanan here has no choice. That little tactical foul there, waves it off, but she is being given a yellow card 53 minutes into the game, and then 58 minutes, disaster is going to strike for Chelsea. Still very hard fought on each of these headers. Good contact in the back there. Big old shove. Leg down. Now, first look, that foul from Buchanan really didn't look any more physical than the two we saw from Barcelona. It's a physical play. That's a physical play. Everybody's just fighting for the ball. But it's too much for the ref. It's the second yellow card, which is going to be a red card. And all the players are gathering around now to tell the ref how much they love her. Chelsea player is very, very happy about this. Red card, off she goes. And here's the thing, when I watched this the first time, I thought, man, it's not that bad. If I had, I don't know how to phrase this. If every opposition player I had ever played against had a yellow card for stepping on my foot, I would have played very little football because there would be nobody to play against. Stepping on your foot happens like a million times a game, and it gets called maybe 1 to 2 times a game. So when I first saw that, I felt, wow, this is a really weak call. But what I did not see was that little extracurricular shove to the face, which you could call striking a player, which would count as violent conduct, which would be an automatic red anyway. So I think honestly the right call was made here. And if we really want to talk about the issue of this game, I could tell you the issue. We can go back to that first minute we saw where 30 seconds in, the ref said, hey, stop it. And 1 minute in, there was a giant shove and the ref let it go. So the philosophy is card early, don't card often. She lost control of the game a minute, 2 minutes in, and it ends up impacting the game later down the line. You're going to see Emma Hayes make a tactical adjustment to deal with being a man down. She's going to take out a forward, put in Guru Wrighton, who's a midfielder, which gives them a bit more security in the back. But what I really like about this is just the way she's taking this opportunity on the substitution to get her team together and have a little chat. I love that there's no board, there's no hand gestures around positioning. She's just bringing everybody together, and I imagine she's probably saying something like, you guys are a fantastic squad. We're still tied here. Let's not panic. Go out and fight hard for this win because you can do it. And you know what? Chelsea actually look a little bit threatening after this. This is a fantastic ball. And for 10 men, this is a really quality chance that they create for themselves. The finish is not excellent, but there's a little window there where Chelsea actually look very threatening with 10 players. Barcelona, though, they're not champions of Europe for no reason. There is no panic here, especially not when your opponent is down a player. And why does this happen? Mati, a fantastic player. This is just a nice little fake, as if you're going to receive it in and then runs out with it. And it does just enough to cause problems to the point where now she's being chased. And it's that chasing that forces those two players into a foul. This is another one where I saw it live the first time. It felt incredibly soft. Watching it in slow motion, we're going to see the extension here. And because she pushes her, she falls a little bit off balance. And you know what? If this is one player, you probably regain your balance. But because you've got two people shoving you, it becomes very difficult. So yeah, I think that is a penalty. It's unfortunate that Chelsea's defending has looked a little bit suspect. Fantastic, easy finish there. Really nice goal. And now Barcelona has a lead. Emma Hayes doing her absolute most to win this game, and she sends out 3 subs. Tactically, this is really smart. One, a lot of fresh legs now. Chelsea absolutely needs that. The really interesting thing, though, that happened is they take out Lauren James for Millie Bright, a defender who hasn't played in a while, but we can see she is a whole head taller than these two players. So Emma Hayes has a little idea in her mind, and that idea is sitting Millie Bright very, very high up here as a target player for crosses, because the only success they've been having so far is from the wings. I think this is a great idea. It's just unfortunate that they never get to execute on it. They just cannot win this ball back. And unfortunately for Chelsea, they just really struggle to create any opportunities. You can see the frustration with Fran Kirby here. Who is available? No one. Sends it off to a teammate who, same thing, who's available? That's a fantastic move to escape, but again, nobody's there, nobody's ready. Everybody's sitting up high, waiting for the ball. It makes it impossible to get the ball from point A to point B with nobody in between. And then here, Chelsea really wants to cross this ball into Millie Bright, but they are still having problems getting the ball. Barcelona doing a great job here. And finally, the ability to cross it. Nobody there. Just too fast. And that's the game for Chelsea. Very frustrating game at home for them. Why did Chelsea lose this game at home? I think mostly this is just a tactical masterclass from Barcelona. It was so clever to take Chelsea's game plan and just throw it right back at them. I think Chelsea really struggled with that. And maybe Emma Hayes should have expected Barcelona to do something a little bit different. It's very easy to say that in hindsight after watching them do something different, but who knows? The other thing for me, the physicality, a little bit of a detriment to the game. And the first leg, Chelsea really benefited from standout performances from individuals. Jess Carter was fantastic. Deidre Buchanan, fantastic. Erin Cuthbert, fantastic. And there just wasn't one player that really stood out this game and controlled, dominated. There was Bonmati. She was fantastic. She was absolutely stellar. Very difficult day for Chelsea trying to deal with her. Not the result I wanted to see for Emma Hayes as a fan of the U.S. Women's National Team, but there is a lot we can learn from this. So let's go talk about the U.S. Women's National Team. After analyzing 2 Champions League matches, what did I see from Emma Hayes that I think might be implemented with the U.S. Women's National Team? Well, the first, and what I think is going to be the biggest difference maker, is the use of more designed plays and passing patterns. So what do I mean by that? It's specific instructions given to a specific player or a set of players on where they're supposed to be and what plays or passes they're supposed to execute. I think back to game 1, and we saw a few times Lauren James on the right-hand side of the pitch, as far wide right as she can be, dribbling across the pitch to the left side. The whole purpose of that was try to disrupt Barcelona's shape and create some isolation. And then in game 2, we saw that long ball that kept being played to Lauren James to try and get her in behind the defense. She was offside a lot for this ball, but I think she was offside a lot because Chelsea played the exact same ball in game 1. It was just being played to Ramirez instead, who is I don't want to say a more capable runner, but she's a lot more lethal. It's more of her kind of thing. And if you really think about it, before Ramirez, that would have been Sam Kerr. Long ball over top to Sam Kerr, you see all the time. So design plays give the team an element of control and something to build around. Complementing the design plays, I think we're going to see more defined roles for players. If you look at Ramirez, Lauren James, Macario, Sam Kerr, they've all been used a little bit interchangeably. They've all got a very similar physique. They might be different heights, sizes, but physically they're built quite similarly. And I think Emma Hayes likes to just chop and change. Like, hey, Ramirez, you're going to do this game 1. Hey, Lauren James, you're going to do this game 2. You're expected to execute it exactly the same, regardless of who you are as a player. And that is going to be a big change for U.S. Women's National Team. There is one more change I'm expecting to see, but this would be a lot more long-term. Have a listen to this little interview with Emma Hayes talking about her excitement to work with some of the young players on the squad.
Are there any particular young players? Obviously, there's a lot of young players coming through with the US, but is there any in particular that you're looking forward to working with?
Jaden Shaw is a huge talent, as is Olivia Moultrie. But I'd say the same for Corbinell, but, Alyssa Thompson. For me, that core of 4 players are exceptional, but equally there's a young Naomi Germer, I think, could arguably be one of the best centre-backs in the world. Yeah, I'm going to have tough decisions once you add Kat Macario and Sophie Smith to that.
What I took from that, there's a lot of players that she regards very highly, but she's going to be unafraid of making some difficult decisions. I think if she's going to have specific game plans for specific opponents, if she's going to be asking individual players to play in defined roles, I think she's going to be more willing to rotate the squad than other coaches have been in the past. I think she'll want to see more players, older players, younger players, more folks for her to evaluate and see what's going to fit into the system, especially when she's looking for very specific things. It's a long-term thing, but I think over the next 2-3 years, we could see some really interesting call-ups. All right, this was a fun video to make. I really hoped you guys enjoyed watching it, and I'll see you for the next one. Thanks for tuning in.